Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and today we're going to create an easy layered flower for an Altenew release. I'm going to start by splattering a background, and I've got some of the white wood grain cardstock from Altenew. This is awesome stuff. I love it. I hoard it. I don't use it. It's because I love it. Does that make sense? You know, Therese, you can always buy more. Anyway, I'm splattering with the Puffy Heart New. This is one of the new colours of the ink sprays, and then I'm coming in with the Lavender Fields. I'm trying to get it in the top left corner. It's going everywhere but where I want it. Now I've stamped out some of the new delicate primrose flowers, and I've stamped the same image 4 times. So this is the key with layering flowers. It's like a toll art or toll picturing. You need to stamp multiples and then cut them so that they look like they're dimensional. Well, they are dimensional. They just don't look like it. They are dimensional. So the reason I didn't show you the stamping was because I used the permanent black ink, and I wanted to use these water brush markers again because I'm a bit addicted. And when you use the permanent black ink, you just need to give it like 20 minutes to dry before you can add any sort of water-based product with it. So I just didn't want the image to bleed. I am using some Bristol smooth cardstock here as well. I'm only using one colour for the petals on this flower, and it's the Midnight Violet, and I've just sort of added some colour to the centre of the flowers and then drawing it out with the water brush and adding some extra water so that it looks paler on the edge of the petals. So my base flower, I've just made sure to put colour all the way around the edge of the flower, and then my top layer, I've just picked 2 of the petals. The next layer, I wasn't really sure. I ended up only using 3 of these flowers. And the next level, I pretty much coloured most of the petals. Now, I didn't get too worried about waiting for each petal to dry in between because I am using the same colour and it is going to be cut out. Although I did actually colour each petal separately because it still does give it that little bit of definition. And for the leaf, I did come in with the moss green. There's 2 different greens in this set, and I used both of the greens in the centre of the flowers. Now, this is part of a hop and a release for Altenew. I have 2 more cards that I've made that I'll share at my blog, and you can see those. It's a really fun release. Altenew do the best releases. I always have so much fun with their products, and they've got some paper packs, and I've made a really fun kind of Christmas card at my blog. So this was part of a giveaway as well, so if you go through the link below you can see my other cards and you can also have a chance to win. So I did try and stamp my sentiment on the front of the wood grain cardstock. Not the best idea. I thought I'd give it a try. So what I did instead was come in with some moss green and stamp the condolences sentiment out of the same stamp set. But this is a really white cardstock, so rather than try and match it up with another white cardstock, I've actually flipped the wood grain cardstock over because it's much less textured on the back of it, and I've just cut that down. And what I like to do is actually, when I layer up my flowers like this, is I actually fussy cut them right up to the edge. Obviously you don't want any of those other lines showing. The base flower could easily be die cut, and this would look good if you had like a background that was a coloured cardstock. I was a bit concerned that the white wood grain cardstock and this Bristol smooth cardstock would be quite different colours, so I didn't want to take that chance. So I actually did fussy cut all of these images out right up to the very edge. What was I going to say? It was something really important. I can't remember. I remember. There is actually coordinating dies for this delicate primrose set. I know, that was hard, right? Because I've cut them up to the edge, what I like to do is actually come in with a marker Don't use your Copic markers though, they're too wet and will bleed into the cardstock, especially a cardstock like this Bristol. So just use like a normal marker, like a Tombow marker, or we call them Texters in Australia. I think that's a brand name though. And look at the difference in the colours from the Nina to the wood grain one. Oh, nearly got the card upside down. Done that before. So I've just used my glue to add that to the front of my top fold card. And I'm just going to pop this sentiment up over top of the other one that I didn't like the stamping of. And this is a great way to cover up a mistake. Alright, so it's time to layer up my flower, and I'm adding some 1mm foam dots. So it's a really thin foam dot. You could also use thin funky foam or craft foam here as well. And all 3 layers need to be layered up on top of each other. So you actually line up the flower exactly how it is underneath. So each petal looks the same from the top to the bottom. And it's a really easy technique, and it gives a lot of dimension to a flower and can look really pretty on a card. I did actually use a glue dot on the center of the flower so that that actually sits down flat, and then popped up each of the petals on the very top layer. And all that's left to do is to add my leaf, which I've just done with some tape runner, and pop the flower up on the front of my card. And that's my finished card for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you head over to my blog and find out how you can win in the giveaway if you're here in December 2018. I'd love to see you there. Oh, I forgot to say, here's my sketch. Do you reckon my card looked like my sketch? I don't always use sketches, but sometimes I do, and I thought this one was so fancy I'd show you. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.